What is up, tea people? Today I'm showing off my tea tray I made, and we're gonna have some Chen Hao Golden Mark 2013 while I do it. So I was out in the Puget Sound with my dad, and we were out looking for and my son, and we were out looking for some really cool looking driftwood because I had this idea in my head. I want a P&W tea tray. And what's more P&W than, well, lots of things are P&W, but for me, a big part of it is the texture of the San Juan Islands. If you've been out to Seattle before, you've probably seen at the ferry docks people going out to Bainbridge Island. It's one of the bigger ones that a lot of people live on it. So I found this beautiful piece of driftwood hanging out. It was kind of part of a big log like play tent thingy area, and I just saw it, and I thought that it had like a really beautiful flow, and it seemed like there was a certain part of it that was going to be flat enough, and so I gave it a shot, and here we are. So I'm pretty excited because I don't know, this project was just one of those things that I had as an idea in my head, and now here I am with all the sounds in my backyard filming a TDB. So one of the cool things about this tray is that it has a built-in drain, and it also has a stopper so that any of the tea leaves that would come out get stuck as well. So I don't have to deal with anything going and getting caught in the tube. So I'll have a sip here or two and then bring everyone a little bit closer in. It smells really sweet. You know, what's funny is that the tray itself is actually a piece of cedar, as it turns out. It was fun to go in there and chisel away at it. Okay, yeah, more peaty. And but I can definitely smell the cedar, so it'll be kind of a fun part of the experience. It's a pretty hot day out today, but why not? Hot tea. Cheers. I split a third of this. I split this cake into thirds with James and another friend, and I think we all agree that this tea is pretty green still. Not a complaint. It's got nice lingering sweetness, but it just isn't quite ready yet. Kind of wish I had not bought it, but this would be a tea to, I think, maybe wait a few more years before you buy it, and probably wait for someone to be storing it a bit better than the P&W. So I have a third of this cake. I'll drink it slowly. A little mouth cooling thing going on, nice sweetness, but pretty grassy. I also have the wireless lav mic. Let me know how that's going. Normally I'm inside filming, so there's lots of hustle and bustle and construction sounds and things like that happening, but that's cool. It's part of the deal. It's hard for me not to smell the cedar. So I'm actually using just a cedar-like fence post plank for the insert in here. The way that it's built, I just use 4 screws that are holding the tray up, or rather the like interior, or the top lid of the tray, I guess. And then I've carved out the cavity lower. I used epoxy and had it tilted on each side so that it would create a funnel pushing the water down. The draining is all working out really well as well. And then I carved out like a nice hole in the bottom, and all the epoxy settled around there. I pushed, if you want to make this at home, I pushed sorry everybody, I pushed the tube up a whole bunch out so that it wouldn't get epoxy in and also settle around and make a nice kind of flat drain at the bottom there. And then I just kind of chiseled away to make it flow down into the right spot. and it works really well. So again, kind of fun for me to have an idea in my head and just make it happen in the world. That to me feels really good. I'm not skillful in any of these things. I don't have any background in any of this stuff. I just have ideas and see if I can make them happen. And when it works out, it's really awesome. And even if it doesn't work out, it's fine. So cheers. Yeah, it's okay. It's just not. It's definitely not there yet. I think it's too early to judge, and there's not a lot of burliness on this tea. I'm using about 4.1 grams exactly, and for a 51 milliliter Guy One. It's a little bit thin. Okay, I'll probably end up doing some editing, so I'm gonna head over to the camera and show you guys around a little bit. All right, so Guy One, as you can see, not a lot of space on this tray. This is a very big cup, but it's really a two-person tray, and I think the experience is definitely going to be that you're sort of standing from your perspective, as pointing this way. I think the flow of the actual piece of wood is really beautiful from that angle, that side. Again, here's that piece of cedar, and I just drilled out some small holes here so that it would sit stacked in here fairly nicely. And then I'm just using some screws. I think these are, I can't remember. These might just be, yeah, I honestly don't remember. I think these are concrete screws. But whatever works. Again, the idea of the screws is just simply that I can adjust the heights really easily. The interior here, the sheen of it is the epoxy. And then I have the drain here, and I had to bend it, but it just comes right out. And then it drains down into the tube. And then you can't really see from that side, but the tube comes out of the back of the tray here. Again, one more reason to be kind of facing it one way. Sits right there, and we're back. Go ahead and have another sip. And cheers. Some bitterness now. I definitely prefer the bawang and the naka a lot more. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in on this one. A little bit of a different one. Not really so much about tea, but about creativity. Yeah, I just think people, this is me ranting for a sec, so end the video now if you want, but I think that there's not a lot of emphasis on creativity, on making things, and on building and expressing yourself that way in our culture, and I just want to encourage everyone to give it a shot. There's no downside. Maybe you spend a little bit of money that you don't end up, I don't know, you waste a little bit, whatever, you still learn something. So I would just encourage anyone who's out there thinking of that thing they have in their mind that they really would like to build, create, or write, or sing, or play, to just try it and give it a shot. Really, this isn't a life-threatening kind of a risk to take. So thanks for tuning in. Go and make your creative dreams a reality, and until next time. Okay, out here with the multi-generations, Puget Sound, looking for tea tray materials. This piece right here feels pretty good to me. We have enough wood here to get carved on. This, I think, has some cool vibes to it. This is a pretty big piece. It's like maybe 3 feet wide. So anyway, this just feels like a contender to start. working on the tea tray. Now, the tea tray definitely isn't going to be a small tray. There's just, I could expand it farther, but I kind of like the idea of having this be for intimate sessions. So you can see the hole there, and then in here is actually being covered up, but I did take a drain piece and bend it, and that's what you're seeing in here. There's wood glue in here right now, and then sawdust from my chop saw, whatever it's called, miter saw. And I have that going on in here. That's going to take 24 hours to cure, but that's primarily to get kind of an even leveling. I'm going to then get in there with some heavy grit sandpaper and just try to smooth that out a little bit. And then I'm going to mix up some of this epoxy, 2-part epoxy. And I think what I'll have to do to make sure that it kind of works correctly is to actually take this and lift it up and tilt it so that it remains flat, and then put like a wedge of some sort, plastic wedge of some sort there, so that when it lays level, it's going to be slanted downward into the drain hole here. The drain does go into, like I said, that side there, and that fits this tube. And then I used, you can kind of see it there, actually drilled out and then installed an adjustable leg to keep this really nice and sturdy. So it's not, you can't see that, but it's not moving anywhere now. And I think that it works actually pretty well. You can't see it at all from the front. So pretty stoked on it. So far it's been fun, just using kind of what I had on hand. And yeah, just some wood glue here. Maybe from Canada. Shout out Quebec. And yeah, try to take this out really fast here so you can see how that works. And then I'll end up, that's got kind of filled up there, so I'll end up drilling that back out again. But yeah, this is the basic idea to start. It smells great. This ended up being a piece of cedar, so it smells really fantastic. And there's still quite a bit of like sand from the beach in it. I'm torn on if I want to pull that out or not. I think I kind of like leaving it in there. It's kind of fun to be just see like a spider crawl on this thing randomly. I feel like it enhances the vibe. So you can still see, I mean, it's really, I'm trying to capture the Northwest kind of San Juan Islands aspect of this tray. Unfortunately, when I found it, this one big chunk here was pulled off. So that might end up being one of the places that we christen the table with. Some tea, a couple other marks as well. This is going to get stains on it. It's been loved by the ocean and will be loved at Casa Denny. So, tea tray is going to be like 1 gaiwan, 2 cups, very minimal in terms of hosting. The idea I have in terms of the actual tray is going to be a stand where I'm going to use screws, 4 screws on the corners here, or maybe, again, screw in female threading, and then have some 1/4 inch, whatever threads, I can't remember the numbers, millimeters, and then a floating tray on top. We'll see, kind of like the idea of having it a bit kind of baked in down to here or so. So I'm thinking that ideally maybe it just rests there. It makes it easier for me to get the plug out as well. So I'll have to figure out what I want to put there. I was thinking a piece of slate, but it's kind of expensive to go find. You can't get like just one small piece of slate. I also don't know how to break slate. I'm assuming I can try to saw it, score it, and then hopefully break it correctly. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know quite yet what I want to have there. Maybe even like a cool looking rock that I drill some holes so that it can stand on this part correctly. I don't know. Still working on that part, but for now I feel like it's actually looking pretty good. I don't know what I'm doing at all for any of the things that I do in my life, period, ever. So it's kind of just fun to mess around and experiment and figure it out, and maybe I'll make another one of these one day. Maybe not. So, like I said, I just had these little chisels on hand, and just with a hammer and some perseverance, this is where you end up. Cheers. All right, everybody, it's late. Things are resting on Harry Potter Book 7, apparently. The progress is being had. So, in here is the epoxy. And look, this is not the most pristine work, but I think it'll work. So I have it tilted across some golf clubs. So it's actually kind of hard to see because it's clear, but this part is going to fill up. So when tea is poured, it's going to filter down into the hole here, which I can't even get access to, and I don't want to touch the epoxy. So I'm going to, this is going to cure. It's kind of tacky and sticky right now. I will then lift up this part and then do the other side again so that I'm creating a V shape where, and then I will do the same thing here. Actually, it's already kind of built in there. I used some sawdust and wood glue to shape and conform a little bit of the pockets. The epoxy is going to be the final sort of thing that's keeping all the tea and water specifically going out through. And then on the back here, there's a big hole where the tube is going to go in. And so what I will do is actually stick that tube up and through, and then epoxy around the tube there at the very end of the stage so that it all flows down there, and then cut the top of the tube so it's flush. So everything flows outward, and have the stand here, but you can see the way that I've done it here. Very simple, not the most elegant, but it is functional. It's just 4 screws as legs that are coincidentally happily adjustable, and then I just cut a piece of cedar and put it there as a flat spot. So from kind of like the profile on the side here, it actually is fairly sunken in, so it looks nice. I think it should be pretty functional, and I'm just so into this piece of driftwood. It's just really beautiful. Yeah, got the home automation sauna set up. All right, anyway, yeah, so I've been recording nearly enough of the process, but I figured maybe I'll try to make a video or show some pictures. I've been taking some photos and stuff, so. But this is, again, a really beautiful piece of cedar. It smells really, really lovely in here. And actually pretty dense. And it's still covered in, like, pieces of sand, and still feels very kind of Pacific Northwest to me. So, really excited to drink some tea on this. It is a small 2-cup and 1-guy-1 setup. But the idea is that 2 people are going to be sitting here, you're going to be sat here, some Midwestern coming out, looking at this, admiring hopefully its flow and shape, and having that be an accent to some delicious tea. Onward. Okay, here we are. Here's the backside. Tube goes through into the drain, comes out in there, all epoxied up and waterproof, and it works. Kind of hard to see, but there's no water pockets. Everything is set and drained through and out. Dude, yay.